Hey kiddo, this is the story of how I made my dream of owning a Jeep Wrangler into a reality. When I returned to the United States after 11 years, your mom and we had a goal. It was to own a Jeep Wrangler, a new one. Well, the way we started was first, my mom, she gave me her vehicle, a 1991 Nissan Altima. We decided to take a long trip from Las Vegas up to Oregon and eventually to Seattle. In the middle of Nevada, at 10 o'clock at night, the radiator of that vehicle exploded and we were stranded on the side of the highway until the next morning. When I went to the bank to ask for a loan, the banker said, "Your credit is 0." I asked one question: what do I need to do to bring my credit up so that I can be approved for a loan? We had the finances necessary. My credit was up. But the problem was that I didn't have collateral. I had nothing purchased with that credit. I needed to purchase something because I didn't qualify to purchase a Jeep or to even lease it. Your mom and we did not take that as a failure. As opposed to the first time when I went to the bank and the banker said, "Your credit is 0." This was, I believe, 3 months later. He said, "You've been approved for a loan." I purchased my first ever semi-new vehicle, a 2019 Honda HR-V Sport. When I had the Nissan Altima, I would drive to Jeep dealerships and look at the Jeeps because that's what I wanted. I wasn't happy or satisfied with what I had. To me, it was barely a vehicle. So after it exploded and it was fixed, and I looked at how much it was worth, $500, it was time to go to work. I drove to Jeep dealerships and I spoke to the dealers. I spoke to the management. I spoke to the staff how to go about owning a Jeep Wrangler. I must have driven to 5 or 6 different places that had Jeeps, but there is one place that I drove to nearly a dozen times. I sat in the Jeeps. I put my hands on the steering wheel and I visualized myself, and I visualized your mom, and I visualized you being in that vehicle with me. During the time that I had the Honda HR-V, I would get inside the vehicle, and anytime that I saw a Jeep Wrangler, I would do the Jeep wave. You'll know what that means one day when you grow up. I'll show it to you. It's basically Jeep drivers greeting each other, acknowledging the fact that they have Jeeps and they're proud of their vehicles. It's a sign of respect. This is where the story becomes really interesting. One evening, I was sitting on the couch and looking at Jeep Wranglers. Of course, I wanted a 2021. Your mom was sitting next to me, and she looked over, and she was so annoyed. She said, "You've done enough research. Just go and buy one." Of course, I was more than ready. I had done my homework. I knew where I was going to buy my Jeep, and everything was in place. Your mom said, "Tomorrow, we're going to buy our Jeep." So after work, I picked her up, and I brought her to the Jeep dealership. It was about 7:30 at night. We walked around the dealership, and there was one that she really liked. So the sales associate opened the doors, and I asked her to go inside. She sat in the driver's seat, and she just smiled and threw her hands up like this. I knew that was the Jeep that your mom wanted. I asked, "Do you like it?" She just had the biggest smile on her face. There was no response. And she didn't have to respond, because I knew no matter what, I was going to drive that Jeep out of this parking lot that evening. And within 2 hours, that's exactly what we did. Because I had no previous purchases, my APR on the Honda HR-V was nearly 11%. Hardly anything that I paid went to principal. And when I purchased the Jeep Wrangler, I had the highest credit. I had the best APR. Almost everything goes to principal. Now, the Jeep Wrangler was a smart purchase, because with the Honda HR-V, I did lose a bit of money because I drove it off the lot. And those vehicles, they lose their value rather quickly. With the Jeep Wrangler, it's still holding its value. I had to go through the Nissan Altima. I had to go through purchasing my first vehicle to qualify for a Jeep Wrangler. I mean, I truly earned it. Come on. But it took a little bit of patience. And I don't think about my losses. I'm thinking about my gains. I traded in something that when I purchased, even before I purchased it, I called it a credit builder. A credit builder towards a Jeep Wrangler 2021. And that's exactly what it was. I wasn't invested in it. I didn't even like it. It was a nice vehicle. We had amazing adventures in it. But what we truly wanted is what we got. I lived the lifestyle that I wanted to have, and it was the Jeep lifestyle. And I am better for it. There was no way that I was going to bring you from the hospital after being born in anything but a Jeep Wrangler. Question: do you think that I'm satisfied with the Jeep Wrangler that I have? Do you think that your mom is satisfied with the Jeep Wrangler that she has? The answer is no. What we have is an opportunity to get the one that we truly want. And what we want is bigger, it's taller, and it's meaner. Dreams do come true. Be careful what you dream about. Be careful what you think about, because what you think about, you bring about.